Even the cruelest parking valets are unlikely to rev a car's engine to redline and dump its clutch. But that's just what a Subaru engineer suggested we do when we asked him how to get the best acceleration times out of the 2015 WRX. In human terms, this sort of launch is equivalent to jumping out of a moving car and hoping to suddenly start running like Usain Bolt. Rev the engine high enough to get wheel spin when the clutch engages, and shift out of first around 5,200 revolutions per minute, advised the engineer. With the four-wheel drive traction of the WRX in mind, we wondered aloud, "You sure the clutch and gearbox will survive that launch?" "Oh, yes," he grinned. And so, here's how we hit 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. We held the engine at the 6,700 revolution per minute redline, jumped off the clutch, shifted out of first at about 5,300 revolutions per minute, and held on to second until the car hit the redline in second at 61 miles per hour to get down to a repeatable 4.8 second time. We subjected the WRX to this mechanical mayhem 14 times. To its credit, it didn't utter a peep of discontent. The clutch didn't slip, no drive shafts turned into fusilli, and the 6-speed box shifted and responded exactly as it did when we started. Will you try this with your new WRX? We doubt it. And if instead you just ease off the line, your times will likely be somewhere closer to our 6.3-second rolling start 5 to 60 mile per hour figure. A machine that takes a licking but keeps on ticking is deeply endearing. Just ask anyone who wears a Timex. But that's not the only reason we're charmed by the new WRX. Subaru has made its latest version into a handler, and that's this generation's big leap forward. Previously, the WRX left dynamic finesse to the pricier STI version. But compared with the old WRX, the new car structure is 41% stiffer for better handling fidelity, and the spring rates have been cranked up by 39% at the front and 62% in the rear to further sharpen up things. There are also larger anti-roll bars and firmer bushings, and the aluminum lower control arms of the strut front suspension are unique to the WRX. Sticky Dunlop Sport Max RT summer tires are standard. To help keep the WRX stable in limit cornering situations, the Active Torque Vectoring (ATV) system uses the front brakes to momentarily clamp one wheel, which helps steer the car through a corner. On the skid pad, our WRX test car clung fast at 0.95 grams. It takes less than a quarter mile of driving to feel the newly stiffened WRX jiggling the untoned parts of your body. On patched pavement or over freeway expansion joints, the car will jostle you. But the rigid body quickly attenuates impacts. Compared with the Impreza upon which it is based but with which it no longer shares a name, the WRX gets more high-strength steel in its A-pillars, a thicker floor pan, and additional gussets that connect the firewall with the passenger cabin. The payoff for the firm ride is excellent body control and sports car-like resistance to both diving under braking and squatting under acceleration. To combat brake fade, Subaru fits 12.4-inch vented rotors, 0.8-inch larger than the last WRXs, and 2 piston calipers up front, and 11.3-inch solid rotors with single piston calipers in back. A larger master cylinder and a more responsive booster are intended to improve brake feel. Although they do feel better than before, the WRX's brakes lack the bite and arresting grab of a Ford Focus Streets or a 2015 Volkswagen GTIs. That said, the WRX didn't exhibit any fade when it executed back-to-back stops from 70 miles per hour in only 160 feet. Snaking in and out of the switchbacks on the Angeles Crest Highway above Los Angeles, the WRX is confident and stable but never boring. There's a sense of playfulness here, with ample feedback from the chassis. The 6-speed has pedals set up perfectly for heel-toe downshifts and boasts throws shortened by 12% over the old WRX's 5-speed box. Shifting requires a shove, but the gates are closely spaced and the action is precise. Turn-in grip is excellent, and next to its front drive competition, the WRX isn't quite as nose-heavy. And with 4-wheel drive, The WRX has no problem turning its 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque into corner exit speed. A new electric power steering system boasts Porsche-like tuning, spin the flat-bottomed 14.5-inch wheel, and the nose dives into corners precisely and predictably. Unlike many EPS systems, the WRX's feels natural as the steering effort increases with cornering loads. The flat 4 under the aluminum hood is a member of the FA engine family that powers the turbocharged Forester XT and the naturally aspirated BRZ and Scion FRS. Direct injected, the engine inhales 15.9 pounds of peak boost, or slightly more during brief overboost periods, and has a 10.6:1 compression ratio. Redline is painted on the tach at 6,700 revolutions per minute when you get the 6-speed manual, which you should, because the other option is a CVT. Power tapers off slightly past the 5,600 revolution per minute power peak. Around town, the throttle is jumpy, and it's all too easy to get more boost than you really want. In the interest of refinement, engine noise is muted so less of the flat 4's characteristic growl makes it to the occupant's ears. There is some low RPM boom from the 4-tip exhaust system, but the new WRX is no louder than before at full throttle. At a steady 70 miles per hour, the WRX is slightly quieter than before. But on certain types of pavement, the Dunlops hum with a coarseness that we found unrefined and annoying. We'd like more refinement in the interior, too. A modified version of what you'd find in a regular Impreza, the cabin offers soft-touch plastics throughout, but they have a sheen that won't win over parishioners from the Church of the Volkswagen GTI. Bits of fake carbon fiber trim attempt to inject some visual appeal, but the stuff is obviously counterfeit. This is not to say, however, that the interior is light on substance. Near the top of the dashboard sits a 4.3-inch multifunction display that provides audio and climate control information, Bluetooth settings, a boost gauge, and a rear view while backing up. Automatic climate control is standard, as are extremely comfortable cloth sports seats. We found it easy to find a good driving position, and outward visibility is excellent for a modern car. Aside from a 0.6-inch increase in length, the WRX is the same size as before, although a 1-inch wheelbase stretch delivers a larger rear seat with almost 2 more inches of legroom. Despite the similar footprint, overall interior space is up, and trunk space has grown from 11.3 cubic feet to an even 12. On the safety front, there's a new knee airbag on the driver's side as well as 3-mode stability control on, off, and off with brake-based yaw control, ATV. The firmer structure and additional standard equipment have bumped up the curb weight to 3,314, an increase of 64 pounds. Hot hatch aficionados will have to shop at Ford or VW stores, as the WRX is now available only as a sedan. And, aside from the nose, the new WRX is not a very pretty 4-door. As we go to print, Subaru has not announced pricing, but we're told it will be very close to the outgoing cars. We expect that our mid-level premium model with sunroof and heated cloth seats will wear a sticker of $30,000. Base versions will likely come in at $27,500, and a fully loaded limited model with navigation and CVT automatic will likely crest $31,000. If we were shopping in this class and really wanted 4-wheel drive, we'd look no further than the WRX. In fact, the new Rex reminds us of the old, track-ready STI and has us speculating about the upcoming next-gen STI. If it is meaningfully more aggressive than this WRX, it will be one of the most extreme road cars ever to wear the Subaru badge. We hope the good people at Fuji Heavy Industries don't chicken out.